So does financial abundance seem to be an elusive thing in your business? Well, stay tuned for today's Business Edge Amplify for Marketing for Small Businesses, because I have a very special guest with me today. Her name is Kathryn Wilking, and she is a Feng Shui specialist. And she's here to talk to us about the properties of Feng Shui and how that can really help you with your business success, especially in the financial abundance arena. So welcome, Kathryn. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Hi, I'm delighted to be with you, Susan. You've been working for me for many, many years, doing my website and all the promotions and different things. I'm really delighted to be on your show today.
Thank you. Thank you. I know that this is a long time coming. We've been talking about getting together, and I was a guest on your show not too long ago too. So we'll have a link for that in the comment section.
Super.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about you, Kathryn. Why Feng Shui, and what is the journey that you took to get you to this place and time in your career?
Well, I'm an entrepreneur just like you. I start off early. I was doing macrame belts and selling things through high school and raking leaves and doing anything I could because I figured out I had to take charge of my life. And when I got into the decorating business years and years ago, basically painting and decorating, and I could manipulate a room with great color, great furniture, and great clients, very, very happy clients. And as I was moving through these different companies and different demands on me and what I could do and couldn't do, and this sales stuff, right? I didn't want to sell. I wanted to help.
Right.
There's that balance in there. And Feng Shui actually gave me that control of what can I control today and what I can't control, and how can I use this to help people. I was using Feng Shui in my business now, and I felt really comfortable because it took the ego out of the solution. And that's interesting to try and explain this to you, because as a decorator, you go into somebody's house and you see, I've got a vision. I'd love to use that new color on your walls. And there's you can make things really, really elaborate and very fancy, but who's ever living in there might not enjoy that so much, right? It might not resonate with them or vibrate with them the same way that it would for me, for example. So if I walk into somebody's house and say, we have to move that blue couch because it makes it a little bit different. You see, it takes that ego out, and you can resonate with the clients a little bit at a deeper level and provide them with the proper service that they need in their home or their business. And so this is when I went into home staging, not just to sell, but for settling into a new business, whether you're moving, whether you're settling in, or you're just, something isn't working, you're stuck, that I can come in and just kind of move that energy around, because Feng Shui is energy, and you can manipulate these things to work in your favor. So that's why Feng Shui has this reputation of selling abundance and wealth and joy, because it actually does work. You can manipulate things to work in your favor.
That's really fascinating. I never really thought of it that way, where, like you were saying, you're also a home stager. And so instead of going in and imposing your personal taste on your client, you're actually bringing in a set of
guidelines, more of a guidelines.
To show that, okay, if we move this from here to there, the energy is going to flow better, and things are going to work out better. That's very fascinating.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So when we think about a business person, an entrepreneur, perhaps somebody who is working in their home office, do you have any tips to share on what they can be looking out for? Because most entrepreneurs are always looking for financial abundance, right? We're always looking for ways.
Exactly. And to hold on to it. There's ways of, I have so many tips. I have a book out, as you know, Practical Feng Shui for the Office, that gives you a plethora of things that can go right and things that can go wrong, as well as an online course, the One Room Rescue, which focuses on the office as well, to the home office. But two very big things is the paper clutter. There's so much of it, even though we're a paperless society, paper everywhere, and you have to sort out the stuff that is stale. Maybe you have to keep it, but you got to put it somewhere. And then you've got to set out another group of resource materials, things that you use sometimes, okay, and need to be accessible but not put away. And then the third pile is active clients and active piles of different things that you need. So you need to keep moving those along. And for example, I have a 2-drawer filing cabinet over here for 20 years. I don't need any more. When it gets full, just purge it. I put the stuff into storage, throw out the stuff in storage I can throw out, put the stuff in storage, move everything along, and it works out really, really well. And I share that with people, paper clutter.
Awesome.
But the interesting thing is that you can control the lighting. The lighting is fairly inexpensive. It doesn't take much effort. You know, plug, right? If you have natural light coming in, that is chi energy, and you need energy to be in a productive state, right? So hiding in the basement in a corner, trying to even pay bills, let alone try and build your business, you're not going to have that energy. You're going to be struggling really, really hard to just get to that bar every day.
Right.
You're trying to help your clients. Think about it. There's a bar. If your vibration is down here, like a 3 or a 4, for example, you help people that are striving to be higher, right? You have to get yourself to that level, a 6 or a 7, in order to pick up the phone and call.
Right.
You have to have that chi, and it's called chi energy. It comes right in through the windows, comes in through the sunshine. And not only that, but we've got accessory lighting. Just before we plugged in, Susan and I were trying to figure out how the lighting would work, because the sun's gone down here and the sun's gone somewhere else. But the lighting is so important, task lighting, to do this. So people that are trying to carve out a niche to work in their home really should be above ground, first of all. Get the lighting together, get your space. In fact, sometimes I even have people put a scarf down or a placemat right in front. This is where I'm going to work. So I'm roaming between the couch and the dining room and the, whatever. This is my workspace, and this is how I'm going to set this up. And this is where I'm going to be productive. And people to realize that there's some rules that really, really, really work.
With the paper clutter, I know for a fact that is so true. I know that my own mental capabilities that you were saying before we got on the show, how you just don't understand how I can manage and juggle so many accounts a day, right? But there are times when I am starting to feel bogged down, and that the energy is going down. And then I look around myself and I go, well, that's why. And I got stacks of papers, I've gotten too busy where I haven't taken care of, the paperwork, and it just kind of scatters itself all over the desk. And as soon as I clean that up, it's amazing how just things just pop right back into place again.
Yes, exactly. The phone starts to ring and you're energized, and you're just like, you lift that bar, you raise that little bit, and you can help your people much better if you're operating in a higher state. Water is a relationship to money. So water in people's homes, for example, to keep the taps turned tight, right? No leaky gutters. On the toilet seat, the toilet one, very, very important, because that force, that velocity of actually flushing represents water, which is money, water going out of the house very quickly. So keep that toilet seat down as well. Maybe you don't have one right off your office here, but all these little things in the house really, really count. If you're having some monetary problems, the first thing a Feng Shui professional will look like, oh, okay, what's going on over here? What's going on over here?
For those of us who like to have like the little miniature waterfalls, is that not a good idea then?
A good idea with a waterfall, but when you turn it on, it has to flow towards you.
Oh, okay.
Or all over the place. If it's flowing out the door, it doesn't work very well.
Oh. Oh, well, that's an excellent tip. And that reminds me, I'm going to have to tell Daniel to stop turning on the water for the cats to be able to drink out of the bathroom faucet. He's been spoiling
Wasting
them rotten
water.
to do that.
Oh,
Yeah, that's fascinating. I didn't know that about water. I mean, I know that there's lots that I don't know about Feng Shui. So I really highly encourage our viewers to pick up Kathryn's book. I'm going to have a link to that. There are so many things that we can be paying attention to that we may not even realize. And I know you've been to my office before, Kathryn, and I know the first thing you said was, oh, yeah, there's some changes I'd make here. But
I don't
sometimes
usually talk like that. Might have hinted.
maybe it wasn't you, actually. I think it was somebody else who walked in and just, all the electronics and
Oh, okay.
stuff like that. So this,
Well, you expect that. I try to be a little more respectful and wait till you ask me a question and then I'll tell you what's wrong.
but I do know that the way my desk is situated isn't ideal, but because I have such a small space here, I really am, my hands are tied as far as being able to make any arrangements. Like I heard that it's best to be facing the door. And as you can see, the door is behind me. So it's either turn around and have all of the ugliness behind my 3 monitors showing to the visitors coming in, or face the window. So that I feel like I'm offsetting that negative with having all the brightness from the window shining into me.
There's certainly rules and they work, but in some situations, if you're not feeling the problem or then go ahead and do what you feel is best. That's probably better Feng Shui. However, if things start to go south, you might want to reconsider. Type of thing as well too. And you'll also, if there's corrections, sometimes you need to rearrange a bed or a desk and it's just physically not going to fit into the area. And so we do place it best fit, and then we place some other corrections. And it might be balancing a light with, a block of quartz or a poster, or I move this over here, or I've got a plant sitting beside my monitor, and that's to absorb some of the EMFs.
Yeah, excellent tips, Kathryn. So tell us a little bit about your journey and how did you use Feng Shui to help you get to where you're at right now?
Well, I think the deeper I go into Feng Shui, I'm still continuing to raise that vibration. As I was mentioning to you, there's different ways that you can monitor it. I have an actual meter that will look at EMFs and other personal interference lines that come into your office, which once I'm aware of that, I can sort of clear these things away and step forwards. Now, I also happen to have a personality that gets bored easily. So maybe you've noticed, fix this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go over here. And it doesn't mean that, that I'm unfocused. It just means that I like to sightsee on the way forwards. And if I find something interesting, I like to apply myself to this. So I've gone from going to people's houses. I go right to their houses or the homes if it's geographically possible. But because it wasn't always geographically possible, I had to develop a way of consulting through the computer. Yeah. And so that was logical and evolution as well too. And going through those particular steps, it led to publishing a book, publishing another book, making an online course, and continuing up here. The next thing is magazines, radio show, and of course, if I ever get to the top of the pyramid, I'll be on TV. So we'll see if that ever happens. If I live long enough, it just might happen. So,
well, if there's anybody watching this broadcast on their TV, then you have already made it, my dear.
Yay! And one of the things that maybe you don't know about me, the fascinating part is the personality profiling that I do when I meet people that are looking for a job, or they're unemployed, or some other people are trying to hire the right people. Why do I get the wrong people in here all the time? Well, a Feng Shui consultant can help you with that as well too. I've developed a personality profile that's on my site under KathrynWilking.com, all in resources, all these things. It's called the PEP quiz. And it'll take you through just a very short quiz to see how well-rounded that you are. then that is one of the biggest things in my aha moment that I found with Feng Shui. And it doesn't mean that there's any right or wrong elements, but it's telling you where your dominant personality is and where your weaknesses are. Mm. For example, if the short story, an entrepreneur needs to be a salesperson. They've got to be able to gather people around and get the message out. You've also got to stand up for yourself and advertise and post and draw attention to yourself. And that's something people can't do either. It's very, very important. You also need compassion, all those HR qualities and customer service qualities, right? And if you're not good at that, you need to get some help. Yeah. Next one is, they call it the metal qualities. This IT, eye for detail, money in, money out, these little tiny, this binar stuff. You guys are so good at it, you and Daniel. And you have to be well-rounded or you're missing a piece of the puzzle. But there's another element that comes in there. They call it the water element, and that is the one that people miss out the most. When you need to sit back and be quiet and pontificate, recap the day, recap the month and year, and plan accordingly. And so many people miss that one because they're busy in the busyness.
Yeah, I'm kind of guilty of that one. Yeah.
You are? Okay. Because it's just, another appointment, and then you start eating poorly, and then you're getting into not having enough exercise or fresh air or, that life balance and settling down to do that. So there's 5 areas that we look at to see where you're at. If you're an entrepreneur that's way over in this category, if you want to go into business with somebody, you better hire somebody on the other side, not a twin of yourself, right?
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So that's another thing about building and saying, okay, I got to work on that metal. But metal actually is one of my weaker points, which is I don't want to sit on the computer all day. To be quite honest with you. I sometimes have trouble with metal people because they're asking questions I don't want to answer, or where's the receipt? I'll give it to you. I mean, I'm having fun over here. So this is so important, and it's been an aha moment for me when I figured out my strengths and weaknesses by just working with this one tool of the 5 elements, applying it to the personality profiles. And yes, every single job that I've had in all these years, I was able to process what went right, what went wrong, and I applied it all back to these theories. And these theories are going, aha, right? Okay, I need a fire person to do that job. I better find somebody.
Yeah.
But I think if I can elaborate a little farther, do you remember I took that shoe contract? Mm-hmm. I took aside, kind of a friend of a friend said, hey, Kath, I've got this new product I want to put out into one of the big box stores, and I need somebody dynamic such as yourself to look after this. Could you get a team together? And what I did, I'm a wood person. So I hired, I'm the wood person. I hired a fire person and a earth person to do this. I thought this is the team that I want to do for this. And we didn't have to handle any money because it was in this big box store. So I thought, okay. But what happened was we sold so many shoes. Okay. I forgot about the replenishment part of all this. Oh, who's going to do this? Who's going to order all the bits? And who's going to just get all the sizes together? And I was like, I didn't want to do it. So I went out and hired a metal person, a little Chinese girl that kind of works like a hamster. She was just so job. And so we had all the elements in this together, and we sold twice what they thought we were going to sell. Our very, very first show. Yeah. We were constantly breaking the sales parameters that they had set out for us, and we did that for several different seasons. And that is certainly another success story that I can personally share to everybody. If you got the right people and the right balance, they might not all get along together because they're different, but they're going to get the job done. And that's when the results are going to be found.
That is such an important point to make, and it's one that I often share, and one that has helped me for sure in building my business. And it's, hiring your weaknesses. And you had said, don't hire a clone of yourself. That's not what you need. You need somebody on your team who is going to offset your weaknesses so that together you make a powerful team. And that's exactly what I've built on my end as well. And so it's fascinating that you're interpreting everybody's personality into fire and wood and those kinds of things.
It makes it more fun. That to do that. But that's the mistake that some people do. They go into business with their best friend or their husband. Not that that's good or bad, but as long as there's things, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and you have to trust each other to do their job.
I was reading, I think it was Simon Sinek's book about your why, understanding your why, and he says in there that any hugely successful corporation, I should say, is based on a partnership with the opposites. Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs, they were both quite opposite from each other, and together they built Apple. And, so it's that kind of balancing that is super important. And here it is. It all ties back to Feng Shui principles and the energy of life, right?
Yeah. Well, this stuff has been around for like thousands of years. And, it's logical, practical, and it works. And interesting that they put these personalities in with the earth properties, because the earth properties have been functioning in harmony for thousands and thousands of years. And sometimes they get off balance, right? The fire comes in, or the floods come in, or earthquakes and all kinds of stuff. And it all manages to sort itself out. So it's fascinating when you start peeling the onion in Feng Shui, as you can find these really cool gems that are just going to make your day.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Kathryn, for sharing your wise words of wisdom. My gosh, any entrepreneur just got a volume of great insight from you. So
There's lots more.
Yeah, and so you do work with people remotely, right? So even though you're in Ontario, I'm over on the West Coast, it doesn't matter. Just go to www.kathrynwilking.com, and it's Kathryn with a Y. So make sure that you check the link in the section here to click on and check out what Kathryn can do for you. I highly recommend looking at the Feng Shui principles and seeing what you can do to your office and business environment that will help with the flow of energy, of money coming in and coming out, so that your business can prosper and succeed beyond what you want it to succeed.
Exactly.
Even, with your shoe sales, even though that was somebody else's business.
I know, as a sidebar, but the results were there.
The results are there.
Susan's my web developer, so just keep looking at all the cool stuff she's planning to do with my site over the next year.
Yeah, we got plans for some changes to update your website, and I'm looking forward to that. As you know, we help you quite a bit with marketing and even some business guidance and social media guidance, and
you guys have been great
stuff.
My real goal here is to just help make the world a better place. We all get along. Can't we all learn to live in harmony and be happy every day? And it would just be such a different world. So that's my
Well, I think there's a lot of people on this earth who have the same common aspirations as you are. And I think that's what a lot of today's entrepreneur is all about. That's what their brand positioning is to just make a difference, make a positive difference. And so I think using Feng Shui principles within that is just kind of natural and normal for that to.
It's very practical. It's not a woo-woo at all. It does have a woo-woo side, and those are, unless you want to unearth that kind of stuff, then it's not necessary. But working with manipulating your environment, again, cleaning that clutter up and checking the lighting is so important. And don't forget to put that toilet seat down.
Definitely. All right. And on that note, Kathryn, thank you so much. And that's it for today's e-tip, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate you hanging in there and coming with us on this journey on discovering some Feng Shui tips on how to help build your business. So that's it. I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.
Bye now.